Welcome to art history that your teacher didn't tell you. This is about Vincent Van Gogh, or back in his day, Vincent Van Gogh, due to his unpopular social status and nobody believing in the poor guy. He was named after an older brother that was also going to be named Vincent, but he ended up being stillborn. He had 3 sisters and 1 other brother named Theo. He was very close with his brother Theo, and all throughout his life, Theo supported Vincent with money and with love. After going to school for 6 years, Vincent decides that he wants to go a degree in theology, but he gets rejected. So in turn, he ends up in Belgium in the coal mining district. That is when he paints this famous painting, The Potato Eaters, in 1880. His younger brother Theo actually had an art gallery. And so Vincent dedicated a lot of his time to painting and drawing. He asked Theo if he could put his art to his gallery. At first, Theo rejected him, but eventually he said, okay, you can do it, but it has to be in the back of the gallery, where no one was bound to see it, as to not embarrass Theo. Nobody believed in Vincent van Gogh at the time. They did not think he could become a famous painter of any sort. Thereafter, he moved into the famous Yellow House in 1888, and he actually lived with Paul Gauguin, and that is where he is believed to have cut his ear off. But more research has actually come to light recently that Paul may have gotten into an altercation with Vincent van Gogh in their house, and he was a fencing master, and he may have been the one to cut his ear off and not Vincent van Gogh himself. But as the story goes, he was in love with a prostitute. He ended up marrying her later on. Actually sick with syphilis at the time, and he contracted syphilis from her. And if you know anything about syphilis, it actually causes a lot of mental disorders. So over Vincent's lifetime, he slowly started getting more and more depressed, and his mental health started to decline even more as his syphilis got worse. He couldn't handle things anymore, and he shot himself in the chest with a revolver in a park. Pretty disturbing. But there's also other stories saying that, well, it's a possibility that 2 children may have actually shot him. So if it was a failed suicide attempt or a failed homicide attempt, he did live through it, and he ended up going to an insane asylum thereafter. While he lived in the insane asylum, his niece was born, and that is actually when he painted this painting, the iris painting, for his niece. I think that is just incredibly sweet. Soon thereafter, he actually painted his most famous painting, Starry Night. In the insane asylum, he actually painted quite a few paintings, and that's where he lived the rest of his day. He wrote many letters to his brother Theo. Luckily, Theo and his family saved Vincent van Gogh's letters and a lot of his famous paintings. He painted so many paintings that he would just throw them away. His mother was constantly throwing them away, using them for kindling to burn in their fireplace. They would use them for dartboards at the local bars and pubs, just all sorts of things. Unfortunately, a lot of his paintings were lost. We're very fortunate to have gotten some of the best work that he ever created. So what do you think about Vincent van Gogh? Do you think he committed suicide? I don't know. I like to believe that he did not. But either way, there is your art history for the day.